What's on Your Mind is sponsored by ACMC 339 Dudley Road, New Style Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam.
Is it COVID? Good afternoon. How you doing? Welcome to another program in the series of What's on Your Mind. The program is produced by Breakthrough TV, and I am Carl. Running a little bit late today, but sometimes that's how it goes, you know. But it's one of those ones, you know. So, how you doing? Let me say how you doing. Let me say thank you for tuning in to Breakthrough TV once again. This is a live stream, let me say. So if you see a little bit of this and a little bit of that, that's what happens sometimes when you do a live stream. I want to say big shout out to Sister Malvina, who was with us last week in the studio. And if you go back and look at Sister Malvina's story, she's actually still looking for some help, you know what I mean? And she tells us a story about her son and what has happened to her son, you know what I mean? The losing of her son and how the sort of struggle she has to go through with the council and that sort of thing. So you can still go back and look that program up. You can also help if you can help. And you can also look up all our program. This is our 76th program. So you can go back and see how much we've improved from the very, very day one when I was actually sitting around my table. I got a wonderful guest in the studio with me, and she's joined us at the last minute. Sister Maureen Watson, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Let me say thank you for coming to Breakthrough TV.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
So how you
It's a
doing?
pleasure. Yeah, I'm fine, you know, just been busy writing my next books.
Yes,
So,
you should let me tell you, you're a writer. You're an author.
yes, I'm an author at
Yes,
last.
alas. So how's it going?
It's going well, you know.
Yes.
I've read some of the reviews back from, the book, and I'm quite pleased. So, yeah, it's going all right.
That's great. We'll talk about your book later on.
Okay.
Are you also a singer, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Yes. How's
Yes.
the singing been going?
It's going well. We've been rehearsing very hard. I'm with a band called Big Ship Alliance.
Okay, big ship.
So shout out to Big Ship
I
Alliance.
know, Big Ship Alliance. Big shout out to your Big Ship Alliance.
So,
So-
yes, we've been working hard, rehearsing, and ready for performances to follow.
And you're enjoying that.
Just absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you was at the 0121
Oh yes, I was.
independent. I think we bounced into each other down
did,
there
we did,
because
we did.
he was a busy day, wasn't he?
Extremely busy, crowded. It's a
I
wonder
know.
we saw each other.
I know. And it was a great moment. It was a great
Absolutely
moment, you know what I mean?
brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Marvelous. And as I say, we got some clips you can actually go back and see where we interview people like Freddie McGregor, the great yellow man. That's probably a once in a lifetime, you know what I mean, for me, you know what I mean, as well as Breakthrough TV. Omar, you know what I mean. Had a little chat with Janet Kay, but she didn't want to come on camera. she says she was a bit shy, you know what I mean. We set it all off and the manager says fine, but she was a little bit shy. Janet, how you doing? Hope all is well with you. Also the wonderful Dawn Pell, you know, we had a chat with Dawn Pell as well. All those are marvelous stars. It was actually marvelous, you know. We actually had a great time, you know what I mean. And we'll be doing some more of those in the very, very near future. I want to say also big shout out to Ian, because I know you, Ian, you know what I mean, you like the program and you tell us how much you like the program. And I know a lot of you guys like the program. All you guys in the States who say you like the program. One thing we always get, one of the things we always get, which is always positive, whoever we talk to or whoever send us a message, they always say to us, carry on doing what you're doing. That is so common. Everyone who says, carry on Breakthrough TV, carry on Carl, carry on doing what you're doing. And that is absolutely marvelous. So we say big thank you, you know what I mean? So, and as I give you the warning, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program, man. Subscribe to the program. You can subscribe to the program. It doesn't cost you anything. All you just press the button and it's free. And when we come live, it will come in live to you, you know what I mean? It will automatically come straight to you. So you don't have to pay. It costs you nothing. So you can subscribe to the channel and help the channel to grow a little bit better, yeah? Right, thank you. Let me say a big shout out to you, Maxine. Also a big shout out to you, Brenda. Jade, how you doing? Michelle, how you doing? Colin, how you doing? Rose, how you doing? Dawn, how you doing? All you guys, let me say a big shout out to you. Sean, how you doing? Donna, how you doing? Big shout out to you. Let me say thank you for tuning in to Breakthrough TV. As you know, I always sort of look at my things, my news from my perspective, you know what I mean, from my point of view, what is happening around the world, you know what I mean. Now, let's go to London. In London, a man has been charged for street stabbing at a phone box. It was an attempted robbery. And as I say, he's been charged. It's happening actually at Bishopgate in London. that was Thursday. As I say, he has been charged. And the police, you know what I mean, says there's also looking for an ex-person that is a suspect in that sort of situation. You know what I mean? And I don't know what's the matter with stabbing and things like that on the phone box. And why you want to stab people in the phone box? You know what I mean? Or for their mobile phone and that sort of thing, which is actually disgusting. You know what I mean? I don't really like that sort of thing. And I hope, you know what I mean, these criminals actually, you know what I mean, get sorted out. I really do. I really do. I really do. I also want to move on to Ireland. In Ireland, now, a young girl and 2 teenagers were among 10 people that got killed in an explosion at a petrol station in County Donegal in Ireland. Police has said on Saturday, and I say it was a terrible incident because the 5-year-old girl, one of the 5-year-old girl that actually got killed, she was actually going to buy birthday cake with her father. You know what I mean? And they say she got killed in that petrol station explosion. Don't know what causes it. You know what I mean? A lot of things can cause petrol station fire. If you go to the petrol station with your mobile phone, it can cause an explosion. You know what I mean? If you take your phones out and you're near to the tank, it can cause an explosion. So we don't know. We haven't seen anything that actually caused that explosion. I gotta tell you something though, you know, a couple of days ago, and this is no word of a lie. I got a couple of days ago, I went to a petrol station. Some people call it gas station. In the Caribbean, we call it gas station. I went to a gas station, petrol station. And on the forecourt, I got back into my car, and this person has pulled on to the forecourt to put petrol in her car. And I heard on the loudspeaker, you know, the system, the speaker, the man asked, "Could you put your cigarette out?" And I couldn't believe somebody was actually smoking at a petrol station.
Wow.
Can you believe that, Maureen?
That's crazy.
It's not crazy. What do you think?
That's great because the fumes as well. You probably,
Yes.
the fumes is. It's like an incinerator box. It's crazy.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I tell you, I was frightened. You know, because I heard. I never see her, but I heard the guy come over what we call the speaker, and he said, "Could you put that cigarette out, please?" And then I looked across. Can you believe that?
Stupid.
These people just mad and crazy. You wouldn't do that, would you?
You wouldn't.
Oh my days! It's one of those ones. Anyway, let me move on. Now, let me move on to the Jamaican leader and the president of the PMP party was touring the UK. I think he actually went back the weekend. I think he actually went back Sunday to be precise. Mark Golding was in town and he was touring the UK, and he was actually having a meeting with the Jamaican diaspora. And as I say, they had a wonderful celebration at the Legacy Center of Excellence, not too far from here. We was up there. We actually took our camera up there, and we had a very good chat. You know what I mean? You can also go and see that online, which was actually marvelous. The other thing about that, one of the main questions that came out of that was the fact that there was a session where there was actually question and answers. And one of the main things people was actually asking is how if he gets into power, he's going to solve the high crime rates in Jamaica. Now, it grieves me when I have to say that. I don't like saying that, but it's a reality, you know what I mean? A lot of don't like, because we always feel that we are, you know what I mean? We're having a go, but it's not we're having a go. It's everywhere. It's on YouTube. It's across the world, you know what I mean? Even though it makes me feel so, you know, and I said that was one of the main questions. A lot of people who was there when the diaspora was asking, was actually celebrating Jamaican Diamond Jubilee, which was actually marvelous. Nice to meet him as well. It was actually great. And but as I say, one of the main question was asking is that how is he going to stop the crime rate? I think one of the main thing I did get out of that the question and answer situation is the fact that he says education the young people very, very early. And I know you would agree with him, Maureen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, important to educate the younger generation very, very early and see what happens.
That's
Yeah,
right, it is, yeah.
yeah. And that's, I'd say, education is the only way forward, you know what I mean? And get them when they're very, very young, you know what I mean? And then I think later on he has to do something about guns, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Illegal guns.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But I suppose when they educate people as well, opportunities have to be made open for
That's
them as
right.
well.
You know what I mean?
There's no
And
point having education and
yeah,
the doors are closed.
and we know there's poverty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, there's poverty everywhere.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we know that as well. So it's one of those ones. Yeah. Now, if I just did say that, now have a listen to this then. My days. Now, moving on to my next story. Now, Bloody September. Bloody September. A constable force dubbed it Bloody September. 147 people murdered in Jamaica in September alone. 18 double murders. You know what I mean? And that is actually sort of, what else can you say about that? You know what I mean? And as I say, it's one of those ones. And let me move on to the commissioner, because the commissioner, the mayor, I should say, the Mayor General, Anthony Anderson, has reported a 4% increase in major crime. He's also says there's 8% in murders. You know what I mean? And the commissioner also said 15% of murders are committed in Jamaica by interpersonal conflict. Yeah. So it's like a personal thing that's, he says, actually goes on with probably families and friends and that sort of thing. I think that's what that means, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what he says. And I must tell you as well, I'm sticking with Jamaica. Now, it seems like Westmoreland has become a sort of a bit of a murder situation in Westmoreland, because a 25-year-old man actually was murdered a couple of days ago. And Shamar Hamilton was killed in a bar in Little London. I didn't know there was a Little London in Jamaica, but he was actually killed in Little London. And in Westmoreland, it has been like the biggest since the start of the year. It's like a hot spot. It's like a totally hot spot for murders. You know what I mean? And they say it's one of those ones that's is keep happening all the time. And they say the Jamaican government has to start education and start getting some of the crimes and start stopping getting some of the situation done. My final talk about Jamaica. Now, a Jamaican man who actually bites off another man's ear. I don't know what he was doing. Why do you want to bite somebody's ear off? Maureen, why does he want to bite somebody's ears off? He's actually being given bail. It's not funny, but he's actually being given bail, which is 500,000. Yeah, 500,000 Jamaican dollars, which is probably not a lot, really.
It's probably for them, but
Yeah, it is not a lot, you know. But why do you want to bite somebody's ear off?
well, it's been done before, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's crazy, you know what I mean? I can't imagine people sort of do that. I mean, I know we see it in, who was the boxer who bites somebody's ear off?
Poor Tyson, it was Tyson.
Was it Evander Holyfield?
Tyson, wasn't it? Mike Tyson who bit off.
Was it Evander Holyfield he was about off? I think it was actually, I can be corrected. I think it was actually Evander Holyfield hears my, did he fight Evander Holyfield? I think so. I think it was probably his ears that he actually bites off, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know why people want to bite people's ear off. Anyway, they should give them a good hiding if they bite somebody's ears off. That's my personal thing about it. Why you want to bite somebody's ear off? Now, celebration. Moving on. Now let me move on now. Still stay with the Jamaica. Now the Jamaican ladies. The Jamaican Nurse Group of New York has been hailed for 6 decades of work. Celebrating 60 years, the organization being hailed as outstanding and having a fantastic legacy of positive and impacting on healthcare in not just New York, Jamaica, and the rest of the wider diaspora. Now, the Jamaican ambassador to the U.S., Her Excellency Audrey Marks, paid tribute to the group as far back as the Crimean War, and she actually paid tribute to Mary Seeker, when the legendary Mary Seeker. See, we're talking about history here, so this is my history bit going in here, right? Clever, isn't it? pushing my Afro history bit in there, but straightly. And I say she actually paid tribute to Mary Seeker and for establishing a hotel behind lines and giving her credit. You know, I mean, instead of the other one, Nightingale. Mary Seeker never seems to get the credit that Nightingale sort of gets, you know what I mean? And say it's absolutely marvelous. And Jamaican nurses has traveled from Jamaica to Canada, to the United Kingdom, to United Nations, the United States of giving positive health care right across the world. So we say big shout out to all those guys who helped us and our family and all the Jamaican nurse right across the world who actually helped right from way back in the 60s. I've got cousins who actually came to the UK and trained as a nurse, and she know who she is, but I won't mention name. And who actually trained from the Windrush days, you know what I mean, and did marvelous work. So we say big shout out to you. Let's do the clap. Marvelous. I like those stories. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now let me go a little bit negative now. Now Manchester. Now let me go to let me go to a new report, which is the one on the screen is actually a new report. Now, a new report, which is like it's a strange one, this is. A new report has found that quite a few British African Caribbean women go through the menopause differently comparing to Caucasian women.
Okay.
Yes. The research also found that most British Caribbean Afro people goes through the menopause at the age 49. That is sort of the limited age, comparing to the national average, which is 2 years earlier. So, and this is coming from the health across the nation, and it's SWN. Also find that when they go through the menopause, they actually go and stay a bit longer comparing to the average figures what they actually come up with. Now I don't know a lot about the menopause, but I must say, because this is I must say what actually happens. Each woman, no woman has the menopause the same way. Each woman has a different feel or a different take or a different experience on the menopause. So when I talk about them, I say, I don't know about menopause. Talk to me more.
Yes, well, I know about menopause.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going through the menopause
Yeah.
now. So it's not easy. And like you say, different women have different experiences. And they even say that, like, what with COVID, the symptoms of COVID
Yeah.
can be similar to that in menopause in terms of brain fogging,
Okay.
extreme lethargy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And confusion sometimes,
Well,
panic.
let's take it right onto the ground. Explain a little bit, just a little bit, exactly what is the menopause.
Oh boy, that's now you're asking.
Just a couple from your experience.
Well, from my experience, you mean in terms of symptoms?
Yeah.
Well, for me, I do find that I get very tired,
Okay.
and sometimes I forget things,
Okay.
lose things.
Yeah.
You know, I could do something 1 minute and I can't find what I've done with it.
Serious.
And also the frustration of not remembering things I've said or done. That's very frustrating, and I can't take too much confusion.
Okay.
You know, like multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
I must not multitask.
Serious.
Because that really does get me very low. So yeah, these are some of the symptoms
the
with
symptoms.
menopause. When you get to that woman of a certain age, these are the things that happen.
You're not a certain age. You're fine to me. What about anger? Because we've heard of some women get so angry. You know what I mean? Or is that part of the effects as well?
It doesn't affect me that way. I don't get angry. I just get frustrated.
Yeah.
But I don't really get angry. I wouldn't say angry, like throw things and kick up.
Or a bad temper. What about a bad temper?
No, not really bad temper either.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm quite calm, I think.
Well, how? So you're having all those symptoms, right? You know what I mean? At a particular period of time, and then what happens? Everything just quiet, and you just feel not all right again.
Yeah, sometimes you do have that. Yeah, things just feel all right.
And then it goes back to.
And then it goes back again. But like with the brain fogging, I think if stressed as well, stress doesn't help, because I think that's what triggers that even more. Yeah.
And what about work? And I mean, does that affect as well?
Yeah, it does as well.
Thank you for explaining that. I've learned a lot there. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Thank you, Maureen. Now, let me look at sports. Now, Chris Eubank, senior, has actually been admitted to hospital. I think he has come across a bit of According to Sports Magazine, he's had a little bit of mental problem, you know what I mean? And Chris Eubank has actually been through a little things. I mean, he's lost one of his son earlier on, you know what I mean? That may have affected him. And his son was actually due to fight this weekend. However, that fight was actually cancelled. I don't think Chris Eubank was actually happy with that fight going ahead anyway. I don't know if you picked up on this story.
No, I haven't picked up on this story at all.
You haven't
But
picked up on
yeah,
the story,
but I can imagine
yeah.
how scary that is for.
Yeah, I don't think he actually likes his son actually going back into the and I say Chris Eubank Jr. was supposed to fight Conor Ben the weekend, but and it was all probably set to go, but I think that was cancelled probably at the last minute, you know what I mean, which is and as I say, I think that would have been like they're fighting for a legacy, ain't they? You know what I mean? The two sons fighting for that legacy. You know what I mean? And I say Chris Eubank Senior wasn't too happy with that fight going ahead. So you know what I mean? I say he's been admitted to hospital. You know what I mean? So we say hope he gets better soon, because Chris Eubank is one of those guys that always sort of stand up for the Caribbean. You know what I mean? No matter what you don't say about Chris Eubank or not, he always sort of stand up for the Caribbean. You know what I mean? He always, and he's never sort of shy to say, even though you see him slick and dress and he's never been shy to say where he's from. You know what I mean? He's never sort of he's never
Very true.
he never forget his past.
No, but he's quite eccentric, isn't he?
Yeah.
In the way he behaves.
Yeah.
But he's very much a family man. I've
Yes,
seen him.
that's right.
And his kids love him.
That's right.
And I think that's quite good, because really for an image of a black man as well,
Yeah.
you know what some of the stereotypes are, but he's created a good image in terms of how fatherly he is, really.
Yeah. It's marvelous. So as I say, we hope he gets better soon. Now stay with sports still. Now, Jamaica, Shelley and Fraser Price and Shakira Jackson has been nominated for Women 22 Athlete of the Year. So we'll see if they actually gets that one. And I'm staying the story with my next story is still sticking with sports, still staying with sports. Now this is where my history comes in once again, because it's History Month, so this is where history actually comes in again. Now Plymouth has unveiled a statue of footballer Jack Leslie. Now Jack Leslie was dropped from the England squad because of his race. Leslie was born in Channing Town in London, spent 14 seasons at Devon Club, scored 137 times in 401 appearances. The inside left footballer was called up in the England squad in 1925, but was dropped when selectors realized that he was from the Caribbean and his father was actually born in Jamaica.
Wow.
Yes. Can you see what happens there?
Oh.
When you see that sort of thing goes on, it's actually ridiculous, isn't it?
It is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And as I say, they've finally sort of he's been recognized, you know what I mean, and they've actually unveiled a statue of him, you know what I mean, and to see how it goes. And it's actually good to do that. And as I say, a lot of us have never actually come across this footballer before. But as I say, it's good to see them celebrate his life and what he's actually been doing and his achievements over the years. You know what I mean? Because, and I say he should have been in that squad, but because of his race or where he comes from or his father comes from, they sort of refuse to put him in the team. You know what I mean? So it's one of those ones to say, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. And when you see things like that, it grieves you, to see how far we're actually sort of coming from. You know what I mean?
It does, because you think he would have benefited from being accepted.
Yeah.
But now it's after. Is he dead now?
Yeah, because he was actually supposed to play in England squad in 1925.
1920, right?
Yeah, I mean he was so that's it.
Yeah.
But so you see how far football goes back to with people of color. People of color been having problems for such a damn long time.
So long.
You know what I mean? And even now we're still having problems.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So it's good, as I say, it's good to see them unveil a statue of him and bring history. That's where my history once again comes in, because we're talking about history myself. I think I quite like that as well. Now let me move on to entertainment. Now Nicki Minaj, the wonderful Nicki Minaj, is due to go to Jamaica. And she has collaborated with a lot of Jamaican artists. So she decided she's going to take a trip down there. So, and as I say, she wants to take a trip down there before the air is out. So big shout out to you, Nikki. And we'll look at some of the collaborations that you have coming up with those dancehall and reggae artists, yeah? Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now, my next story is like, I got to put my glasses onto this. So, where does reggae music come from? Where does reggae music come from?
Jamaica, isn't it?
Of course. Right. So, now Stonebwoy, the African Afrobeat artist, he made a comment, and he made a comment that a lot of people wasn't very happy with, because he was actually saying reggae music and dancehall music comes from Africa, and actually Sean Paul has actually sort of back up his argument as well. You know what I mean? And I think he says a lot of reggae music actually come from Jamaica, and that all Jamaicans are African due to the slave trade. Anyway, Queen Ifrica, as you know, Queen Ifrica wasn't happy with that. Now, this is what Queen Ifrica says. He says, reggae music was born in Jamaica. Jamaica is not a slave island. Jamaica was not created out of slavery. However, slavery was added to Jamaica by unscrupulous Africans who linked with the slave trader to sell their brothers and sisters. So as I say, Queen Ifrica wasn't happy with that. She said she's giving a report on that. And I say, and she also said before slavery, we can all agree that she said something else, but I gotta say something else. She says all Afro people comes from Africa. Just so we can all agree. And she also said there's a lot of reggae music, and reggae music has actually done a lot over the years. It has influenced a lot of us, and a lot of people has been influenced by reggae music. And I said, reggae is made in Jamaica, and reggae and dancehall is Jamaican music. Now, and I totally agree with that. So let me stick my little spin on it now. Now, reggae music is actually, from my knowledge, has actually come out of the struggles that's been having in Jamaica. It doesn't belong anywhere else. It's a different rhythm. It may have taken a little bit of rhythm from the ska days, from when it dropped down into the rock steady, and then we have into the reggae. It may have taken the blues, the three-chord blues, from the blues guys in the United States. You know what I mean? But the bass line and the drums is all Jamaican. And it may have been influenced by quite a different music over the years. But all music does that anyway. No matter what you're always gonna, and it has influenced a lot of music, and a lot of music has influenced it, right? So it's always been influenced. But I totally agree. Reggae music is Jamaican, and it comes from Jamaica, and it was built in Jamaica. So, and nobody's not gonna tell me anything else. Talk to me, Maureen. So you see, they are getting over fighting where reggae music come, and we know what reggae music comes from. So we don't want nobody to take the thing and say it's this where it come from, and where we know where it come from.
Yeah, it's true. It's true though, isn't it? But like you said, people take bits and pieces from it or add to it.
Yes.
But they're creating their own things. So to say, tell where the source is.
Yes.
But then say, but this is what we've created.
Yes.
I think that's fair to do that. But
yes.
Don't
go say it. Don't go say it. It's coming out of Africa. Don't get me wrong. I love my African music. African music. I love the authentic African music. I love my Afrobeat. I play some of the best Afrobeat songs you will ever hear. You know what I mean? Because I'm a big Afrobeat fan. But don't try to take my reggae music from out of Jamaica and call it Afrobeat, because it's not. Yes? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, still staying with entertainment. Now, Bob Marley, granddaughter, Selma Marley. And she actually was wearing a T-shirt with Kanye West, stepped on the catwalk with Kanye West sometime in Paris. Paris, I know a song like that. Paris. I think she steps on the catwalk in Paris with Kanye West last week. And she actually came under heavy criticism because on the back of the T-shirt it had White Lives Matter. Now, that actually cheesed off a lot of people. Now she's actually said this week, she says, and this is actually, I don't know if you know, this is actually Bob Marley's granddaughter. She's also the daughter of Lauryn Hill. I love Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill,
Yeah.
right,
And she also the son of Rowan Marley.
Yeah.
Rowan Marley is like Bob Marley's son. He's a footballer. Yeah. So, and she says nobody can bully me. Basically, she said nobody can bully me. And you know what I mean? She's still not very happy. She said nobody can bully me or manipulate me. You know what I mean? So she's still sticking with her guns. You know what I mean? So that's what she has to say. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. And I saw a lot of people been talking about a T-shirt, and a lot of people is not very happy about that. You know what I mean? So, but it's one of those. And some people actually say she's actually making headlines for the wrong reasons.
Well, because we know White Lives Matter, of course it does. It always has done. But what it's saying is Black Lives Matter also.
Of course.
It's the also.
Yes.
But
Yes. Totally. Right. I've reached my rant. My time is going quickly. Reached my rant. My rant. It has devastated parts of our community. It has devastated people, what we call on the front line. It has left people with mental health issues. It has caused people feeling differently, suffering from mental health. It has affected the Afro-Caribbean deeply. We've lost generation. We just lost generation. The older people, what we call the senior citizens, a generation of them has been wiped out. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? What am I talking about? I'm talking about COVID. Now, there's an investigation going on. The investigation has started about COVID. And as I said, how long the investigation is going to take, we don't know, because it's going to go on for a long time. Yeah, it's probably going to go on for a couple of years. Now, the main thing I'd like to see out of this investigation is why it came onto us so quickly, right? Where it came from and what caused it. And how is it affected? COVID is still around, let me just say that. How has it affected the people of color so badly? And we also, if something like this is going to happen again in the future, we also need to know that these people are well protected before anything like this breaks out again. The other thing as well, I think the government of this country, Boris Johnson was a bit slow. Because when the COVID, we heard a lot of news about the COVID before it came into the UK, allegedly. The government was waiting and seeing, right? Before we actually saw what we call have a lockdown. Now, me personally, so I think we was a bit slow. Now, me personally, and we could have been saving life. I think the report's going to show this as well. But who am I? I'm not on the report, but you never know what could happen. So when the COVID started, I think the government was a bit slow. The other thing as well, when we had the lockdown, we got the lockdown, I think in March 2020. When we had the lockdown, we locked it down for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then we opened it up back again. What he should have done, he should have locked the damn country down from about March till August. Yes. And the other thing he actually done, the government, he actually have this thing where, you can go to a restaurant now. We're going to open the restaurant and you can have 2 dinners for 1 dinner, or you can have 2 dinners for the price of 1. Ridiculous. Yeah. So I actually think the report needs to go very, very deep. It affected African American, it affected British Caribbean people, it affected people who live here, but it's actually affected on the Afro race very, very badly and very, very heavily. Now, are you going to be sit back and say, COVID is gone now, we're doing good now, we're doing good? We need to know what caused it. We need to go deep, and people of my race need to go deep and actually find out what is going on. And don't just believe what them tell you. We need a proper investigation. You know what I mean? And then we say, okay, now we're all right, we're happy, we're going dancing, now we're going blues, now we're going this again, we're going again. As I said, it has wiped out people. And the only way you know that, if the only way you know that, until it wiped out somebody of your family, that's where you actually realize what it's all about. So As I say, the investigation has started, and we need big, big answers. I think I'm the only one that's actually pushed this so far. In fact, I'm the only one, away from the investigation going, I'm the only one who is so fired up about it. You can't just let it go simple like that. You can't. It's wiped out too many people. We need to have answers. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Let me move on. What do you think about it? What do you think of what I have to say?
Oh, I've got lots of thoughts about COVID. I think, I've always found that when it comes to receiving anything, we're always the last on the pecking order,
Yeah.
where people care about us.
Yeah.
But here, all of a sudden, they were pushing, come on, BME people, you need to get your vaccination. And I'm thinking, but why are you pushing now? We don't normally, no fuss is ever made about us. We're always the last ones
Yeah.
to get the benefit of anything.
Yeah.
So that really worried me. And then all of a sudden now, we become very important.
Yeah.
And like you said, we do need to do a lot of research.
Yeah,
to
we
find
need-
out what's because they're told different stories. Oh, it's come from this country,
Yeah.
and it's because they're doing this. Really, they were doing it for ages. So why, And then politicians were saying you must not go out and you must not do that. And if they were so serious, why were they going out and why were they making those journeys to various places?
Yeah.
So all these things really created a lot of suspicion
It
and a
does.
lot of doubt.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and
a
that
lot of
wasn't
a lot
good.
of untrust.
And on trust, that's not good.
Yeah.
That wasn't, especially from our leaders who we're supposed to respect and trust with our lives.
Yeah.
And they were doing these kind of things. So there's a lot of questions that do need to be answered, and they do need to find out more about
Yeah,
COVID.
they need to investigate, and you know what I mean.
They
They
do.
need to go, and I hope it's not what we call a whitewash. You know what I mean? A couple of years time, because they're gonna leave it, and these investigations, they're gonna leave it. They're gonna about 2, 3, 4, 5 years time. You know what I mean? Probably 10 years time, and then when we sort of, it's not in our mind, or it's also going to our
Some
mind.
of us have died out.
Yeah,
already, so
they
it's a
come
new
and say,
story.
oh, this is what, and then it'll be shelved, and that's it.
Yeah.
So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Now, let me move on to my next rant. Now, Red Bull has been found guilty of breaking Formula One budget cap in 2021. And, as I said, the FIA has found them guilty. However, I don't know what punishment they're going to get. Now, and a lot of Lewis Hamilton should actually won that race in 2021. Yes. But he was sort of, what we say in England, robbed, because them changed the rules in the middle of the race. He was on the last lap, and they changed the rules. It's like me going in the boxing ring and boxing and boxing and boxing, and the referee step out of the middle and say, you can knock him down now. So they changed the rules, which is actually disgusting. So a lot of Lewis Hamilton fans and a lot of people say Lewis Hamilton should be the champion. He should get the championship. Now, and I say Red Bull has been actually a bit naughty, because what they've done, as I said, they've set a cap for spending. Now, if you go over that cap, you can get more. You can say, like, let me say then, say you got 5 million. That is nothing. That is nothing. We're talking about 144 million. That's what we're talking about. But we're gonna simplify it and say about 5 million. So we say about 5 million, right? And then they spend another 4 million. What that 4 million does, it allows the team to put something different on the car, to soup up the car, or do different things, so the car can catch the next car, or the car can catch the Mercedes team, allegedly. Because nobody could beat Lewis. Lewis is already the champion so many times. So by overspending, you get different things. You could get some fuel with a different, with a different sort of substance in it, and boost up your engine, or put different things in your engine. So that's what it does.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's what the overspending does. You know what I mean? It's like you at it. If I said to you, like, I'm gonna give you 10 grand, right?
Oh yes, please.
I'm gonna give you 10 grand. I said, I'm gonna give you 10 grand, right? And you want 10 grand to spend. But I'm gonna give you 10 grand. And then you say, Carl, give me 15 grand. That 15 grand, you can actually spend what you're gonna spend with that 15 grand and spend it more and buy yourself something better or more. And that is the logic of that conversation, you know what I mean? And I say a lot of people think Lewis Hamilton should be be the champion, and he should be get the 2021 title. I don't know if he will do that, and I don't know if Lewis gonna be happy with that. You know what I mean? But as I say, it's one of those things that Red Bull seems to be doing all the time. You know what I mean? And I'm not blaming Max Verstappen for the for what has happened, because what has actually happened is sort of got nothing to do with Max Verstappen, even though he's the driver for Red Bull. You know what I mean? But as I say, they couldn't probably cast the Mercedes team. So if you put a bit more tiger in your tank,
Maybe there's something in the name.
that's what
Red
it does.
Bull, something
Yeah,
in the name,
yeah,
Bull.
Red Bull.
There you go.
Red Bull. Something in the name. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. So we'll see the outcome. But as I said, they haven't given any penalty. They give penalties. You know what I mean? But if you see, if finally, if Red Bull lose points, yeah, for 2021, Lewis will be the champion. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. If they just get penalized, no. But if they lose points, because it works on a points basis, if they lose points, then Lewis will actually be champion. Yes. But it possibly comes a year too late. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Maureen, how are you?
I'm fine. My head is kind of swollen with all this information. Dear.
So what's happening with you? Tell us what's on your mind. You know, it's your turn.
Oh dear. So what's on my mind? You mean with
Yes,
my book again?
with your book, and
Yes.
I think you got a few what you've been up to. You got a few programs you've been telling us what you've been up to, and you know what I mean.
Right. So what I've been up to is, like as I said before, I've become a publisher for the first time with my book, which is 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and it's really just about what happened to George Floyd,
Yeah.
and it's looking at different people's perspectives and being critical and analytical about that, really, and everyone coming up to their own conclusions and soul searching.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, really. It's not about blame, it's about soul searching. And I'm in the process of doing 2 more books. I'm writing 2 more poetry books right now.
Okay.
So they're almost finished.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing, really. So I'm busy.
Who's your publisher?
It's Divine Flow.
Okay.
Divine Flow. They're the publisher of these books. So and
Okay.
they're the ones I've chosen to do that again.
Okay, let's hear another one of your poems.
Okay, so one of my poems, it's called Journey to Manhood. So it's born to a mother whose love and faith raised me, gave me confidence that I was indeed somebody, with great expectations on cue to birth, qualities that this world rates as value and worth. But constant hurdles in my way were flung. Face didn't fit, body not rightly hung. I fast discerned my fight was against an opposing view, that nothing good comes from one of my hue. I met with resistance at every twist and turn, pushing boulders up a hill with little to no return. Maslow's tier of needs didn't seem to hold much clout, as every time I put my right foot in, someone pulled it out. Even Pavlov's dogs got fed when they salivated. Despite following suit, my needs were totally negated. Forced down a route as all known roads were blocked, youthful folly drove me, and to quick gains I flocked. A felon, a badge I wore, but not with pride I had, just struggling with a body bag that labelled me as bad. Different rules apply to me, blackness seems ill-fated. Ah, the American dream for some, for me, overrated. I managed to turn my life around, God knows, wasn't easy. Partner, dad, role model, and a job whose pay was measly. But church and mentoring the youths in my community woke me up and gave me hope in a time of stark disunity.
And explain to me what was the inspiration behind, you said George Floyd, what was the inspiration?
That was George Floyd speaking.
Okay.
That was George Floyd speaking about his life, you know, saying, you know, being brought up by his mom and all the dreams he had, and his mom ploughed in him all those dreams he had. And then the struggle, you know, and he became a felon, didn't he? And that badge, when you have that badge in America, you know your life chances are really badly marred. Do you know what I mean? But I think he was in a church and he was helping the youths as well. And I was just looking at that really, and how that gave him some hope.
Yeah.
So we know what happened to him.
Do you think the George Floyd have we seen any improvements out of the George Floyd situation? Have we seen any? Have we seen any that actually stands out Please categorize for me a little bit.
Right, there are some improvements, there are things that have happened because I think the biggest thing for me was when everybody, all the nations knew about it and people came out and marched.
Yeah. Okay.
That meant a lot because I went on one of those marches as well.
Okay.
And it was just to see the community come together. There was black, white, Asian coming together and they were vocal and they wanted change. People were crying and that for me filled me with so much hope. And you have noticed some changes, like before you didn't see much black people doing things, or owning their own little domain. But now you've started to see that, like more black people featuring on the TV, doing TV presentations, whatever. But it's not perfect, and it's just a tip of the
I
iceberg.
see that because I was gonna say I hope that George Floyd it don't just happen as a moment in time and nothing comes out of it.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm hoping that it wasn't just but when you look back and when you look back at certain when you look at people like the great writers, you know what I mean, back in the day, and you think, oh, that was just a moment in time and nothing else happens, you know what I mean?
But you see, I think is we've got to make sure as a people,
Yeah.
right? What are we doing about it? Yeah, the white people have got to do something too. They've got to learn about our history. They've got to make the changes. This is their work,
Yeah.
but we also must be doing something for ourselves.
Yeah, but we also see the police in America is still
Oh yeah, they're still
they're still
brutalizing. They're
brutalizing.
still
You know what I
doing it.
mean?
They're still doing
They
it.
still bruise it, and I think they was actually trying to get the law through Congress. You know what I mean? What we call the George Floyd bill, the George Floyd law, and I don't think that's actually moved. That none of the party has actually supported it yet.
No, but we've got to keep on. We've got to keep our foot on the pedal, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got to keep our foot on. And being a woman of, what's the word? Spiritual woman.
Hmm.
I believe we got
Oh
to
yeah,
come down to pray.
I see
We got
what
to pray it out.
I understand that.
We
I
really got to
understand
pray it
that.
out. We got to cry it out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we don't often we don't do that. We should never forget our roots like that.
Okay.
Mm.
Give me an next point, please.
Next point. Oh dear. Right. Okay. This one is called Being Black,
Being black.
and this is from my perspective, like things that's happened to me.
Okay.
Every day I am faced with how my blackness impacts the elderly I walk behind who are fearful of attacks. Sitting alongside someone who clutches their bag real tight, I literally cross the road to alleviate someone's fright. When in shops, I'm pressured to make it obvious. I can't afford to browse nor look conspicuous, for judgment pierces in the form of burning stares, as if I'm only there to purloin their wares. Speaking in meetings and what I say often disregarded, causing me to doubt my ideas, deeming them retarded. Usually, clarity from a white noise says my words verbatim, and I am faced with a crushing conundrum that an ideology exists that houses biases entrenched, where anything good where anything good from me is blocked or quenched. I too want to know my voice is valued and heard, and that some sleepy compassion I have stirred. Tired of feeling like the elephant in the room, looked through, talked over, my own conversation vacuum, hounded by stereotypes that make me want to holler, and the nonsensical phrase like, I don't see colour, is tantamount to the emperor's new clothes, and knowing full well that his dignity is exposed. Yet seeing his wherewithal in full bloom, one states nudity is not something I choose to assume. It's laughable when you say it out loud. But the sore implications are worn as a shroud. Can't even bear when crimes feature on the news, compelled to wonder which of the spectrum's hues had perpetrated this offensive act or abuse. They wouldn't look like me if I could but choose. The media, with its paltry representation, doesn't do a thing for our coloured reputation. It labels and misquotes us with a rebellious brush, painting a future vision that airbrushes out us, always under a dark cloud and often slandered, maybe to feel our race, made to feel our race is somewhat substandard. Bars are lowered, bars are lowered, and said it's for us to be accommodated, but quotas and tokenism tags us at to be hated. Used as guinea pigs for every medical poke and prod, put under the microscope by those playing God. Products gone off are discarded to our lands, trustingly received, taught never to bite those hands. Then there's our contributions, ne'er attributed to us, a stolen history with a fake one put into focus. I have heard it said that the black lives are charmed, and that statement has made me quite alarmed. Consider the struggles relayed, the current status quo, with hand on your heart and knowing what you know. If you were given an option to make an informed choice between black or white, what answer would you voice? Blackness is not a novelty or a mark of deviance. It's a struggle for equality, our lived experience.
And you say that from your perspective.
That's from my perspective of things I've experienced.
There's something just actually in that that reminds me of about a song. You actually says about the choice. There's a song that actually but it was a favorite song of my mother, and it's called Choice of Colors.
Ah,
If you have a
that's
choice of
interesting.
colors, which one would you prove, my brothers? If there was no day or night, which would you prefer to be right?
Wow, I've never heard that. I'll have to look that
Yeah,
up.
I think it was actually, can't remember the artist, but it's a
Yeah,
very, very great song. My mother used to
yeah,
always play that, you know what I
yeah.
mean? So that is a wonderful poem, you know what I mean? You said that was your, from your inspiration or
That's
your
from, yeah, from things I've experienced
things
as
you've
well. Yeah,
experienced. And you talk about, was it sort of like attack or robbery or something like that? That sort of stuff comes up in
it's
there.
just like when you go to a shop,
Or you something there.
and people already looking. You've noticed that you've all of a sudden you've got a bodyguard,
Well,
walking around with you.
it's funny you should say that. You know, many years ago. I used to use a regular shop in the city center,
Yeah,
and I remember I went to the city shop. Remember I went to the city shop, you could buy my clothes, because I used to love buying clothes. And I
yeah.
went into the city shop, and I remember walking to the shop, and I gave them my credit card. There's nothing wrong with my credit card. When I gave them my credit card, I couldn't believe this. I see two guys. One was walking that way, and was one walking that way. And they went and stand in the door. And the assistant was actually serving me. She looked at me and says, "Oh, we've just got to check this card." I said, "Why are you checking this card?" I said, "There's two Caucasian guys here standing in front of me. You haven't checked their cards. Why are you checking my card?" By this, I already made up my mind what I was going to do. I already know what I'm going to do. So when she checked the car, when she checked the card and said, "The card is fine, so you're fine." I said, "You know what? Give me back my card. I don't want it. I don't want your product." And I dashed the product down and I walk out the store.
Principle, isn't it? It's
I've
a
already made up
principle.
my mind of what
Yeah,
I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
dashed the product down and I walk out the store and I never had the product. You know what I mean? But because when she said that, man, I would see these two guys walking out, and I just walk out with my head held down. I said, "There you go." I just walk out the shop. I said, "There you go." You know what I mean? I just sneak it down and walk out the shop. So it's one of those ones. You know what I mean? You've got to be on them. You got to make up your mind long before. You know what I mean? From you see that.
Exactly.
When you see that, you have to think about what you're gonna do next. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think you've got to give a sound message, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
You've got to have integrity.
That
You've
was
got to
the
have
whole. That was the
principle.
whole idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
a person of color. I'm not a
yeah.
thief. I've worked bloody
So
hard
you
all my
work
bloody
hard.
life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they come into like stereotype me like that. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
I said, it was. I tell you, it was a happy moment of my
Oh yeah,
life. One of those
yeah.
days.
Because I've been in shops where they followed me around, and I can see a white person stealing,
Yeah.
but they don't follow that person. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and I say nothing. I just leave it like that,
Yeah.
and I just think, look at you. It's
Terrible.
crazy.
Just give me a lot of your poem before we locked out.
Okay,
We
another
lock this
one. Let me
program
see.
down.
Quickly find one now.
Okay, thank you. Yes, as I say, it's one of those ones when you're going to the shop and you see that sort of thing happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, can't believe it.
Right. This one is called Blind Spot.
Okay.
Blind Spot. We know our pains, and it's them we nurse and mother. But we fall short when we don't see that in another. A blind spot is our obstruction. We all have it. A parochial view that fails to benefit or expand our narrow way of thinking and won't clear despite the continuous blinking. Being blinkered is a blurred vantage point, closed to others' life path and bound to disappoint. Our lives are something we fiercely defend. We spout we care for all, but I think we offend when we deny them framing their own narrative and deem their lived lives as being comparative. When we are consumed by our own reality, we are walking a tightrope of fragility. For our lives should not exclude but encompass what we see in that reflective looking glass. Those contours, shades, curves, that demand our attention, and hidden foibles we are fearful to mention, should not be wrapped up in guilt that passes on blame, and towards another point the finger of shame. We must unearth the truth we buried underground, although we know by such actions some will frown. For when light is shone upon our darkened places, that beam also illuminates others' faces. We should earnestly take the time to introspect and to journey with others in retrospect. Let's return to basics, do the revision, for what we need now is 2020 vision, where we sit and learn at the oppressor's sore feet, listening to their open hearts, no attempt to deplete the magnitude of their lived experience, allowing their words to sink in and give credence, because for too long we have not recompensed those whose trivialized hurts made them incensed. We finally get the message and choose to cease a chokehold that represses those needing release. We have to now embrace a transformed mindset, a moral compass that no one can reset, doing things more from a divine insight rather than the deficit of a hindsight. For we need to act before it's far too late to have any sort of a reasonable debate.
Marvelous. Great inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Where can we find your poem and your books?
Right, it's on Amazon.
Yes.
So all you do is go into Amazon, and it's £8.46,
Okay.
because the book is 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Repeat that again. 8 minutes and
So
46
it's
seconds.
8 minutes 46 seconds.
Hold the book up. Hold the book up to the camera.
It's 8 minutes 46 seconds, and it's £8.46.
Marvelous.
And it's at Amazon, and you can get it. Yeah.
Marvelous. The very talented Maureen Watson there. Let me say thank you for coming into Breakthrough TV
Thank you for the invite.
and sharing your story. That's absolutely marvelous. Very wonderful, talented lady.
Thank
and
you.
hope to see you again. And look after yourself and take care. Let me say thank you.
Thank you.
Right, there you have it, guys. I'm coming to the end of the program. Let me say thank you for tuning into Breakthrough TV once again. Don't forget to subscribe to the program, yeah? And so we can get the channel going bit much more better. We do our best, you know what I mean? But subscribe to the channel. It's not gonna cost you anything, you know what I mean? So as I say, once we go online, you'll know we're there, you know what I mean? Once a big shout out to Andrea, big shout out to you. You know who you are. Also, Gerlin, big shout out to you. Paula, big shout out to you. Hector, big shout out to you. Tyrone, big shout out to you. So many of you. You guys in America, the United States, Jamaica, Birmingham, wherever you are, the whole Caribbean. Big shout out to you wherever you tune in from across the world. Let me say thank you for tuning in to Breakthrough TV. Don't forget, Breakthrough TV is always here. And as I say, we're a young channel going in more and more and more and more. Sometimes we are outdoor, sometimes we are indoor. I hope the winter's not too bad this year. We're in the autumn, and we hope that the winter is not going to be too bad. I know we need some rain in the UK because a lot of the reservoirs are actually empty, so we're not having a lot of rain. But you know, when you ask for something, you get it in buckets. I want to say thanks to my producer. He's been absolutely marvelous again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. My time is here. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to Breakthrough TV. Thank you, my guest. Big shout out to you, Maureen. Thank you.
Thank you.
On Your Mind is sponsored by ACMC 339.0, New Style Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam Jam.
Planning an event? Do it professionally. Please contact Breakthrough Event Management Team and get everything under one roof for both indoor and outdoor occasions, birthday parties, bridal and baby showers, anniversaries, funerals, backyard BBQs and more. We offer a video and photography service, marquees, decoration and a PA system to hire, with popular New Style Radio DJs spinning old and new school hits. Please contact 07584 197 380 and book all your catering needs with Reggae Jam Jam catering service on 0787 244 3765. And remember, do it good and done.